Why do chess masters? Why every single time you watch a YouTube video, somebody plays perfect chess and then you're like, alright, I'm gonna try that, and then you try it and you blunder like crazy. This is why I'm going to be explaining what separates chess masters from average players and what you guys can actually use to elevate your gameplay. Now, these are the tips. If you utilize this method, then the blunders in your games are going to be decreasing a lot. When I say a lot, guys, a lot, because your calculation is going to actually improve. Plus, these techniques are being used by my current students, and it's what I've used along my journey of becoming a chess master. I use this today. If you watch my videos, this is the technique, guys. Just apply this. Let's get into this video. Waste no more time. Let's go. To start this, I want you guys to memorize three things. You need to keep pieces active. You need to watch out for your opponent's ideas. And third, always play with a plan. We're going to be going into a full detailed explanation of how to do this without blundering, like what masters actually see. Now, we just saw this knight go to e5, and this is a great move. All right. Now, why is this so? I always tell you guys to put pressure on your opponents, but what does Raheem mean by put pressure? If your pieces aren't doing anything, meaning they're in defensive roles, they can't cause any damage to your opponents, I always tell you guys that you need to put pieces in this area of the board, or at least start targeting squares, areas in that specific this area, guys. Just put pieces over there and watch as your opponents crumble. This is the danger zone. Once pieces start crossing in that area, your opponents are going to have to be more alert. Same thing vice versa. The reason why I like this move is because black is now playing active, and guess what? We now have to be alert. This is our box. Black is now attacking squares in our area. So what guys? We have to be alert. Now I'm going to be going into a little bit more of a deep dive here. When I am calculating, I calculate for my opponent's active pieces. So see, I'm looking out for my opponent's ideas. Any move that can cross this area, that's what I check first. I don't have any time checking if my opponent plays pawn to h6. But why? Because it doesn't create any damage for me. Like, it doesn't harm me in any shape, form, or way. So when I am checking variations, all I'm wondering is what happens if black plays knight check? What happens if black plays rook to b4? Things that can infiltrate in my area of the board. Guys, you don't even need anything too fancy. Just ensure that you are really getting this one down. Knight to e5. Now the mistake. So remember, playing with a plan means that you need to improve your pieces. The only tactic that white can actually think about here is if knight takes d5 works. And ding ding, obviously it doesn't work here. But this is the only thing that can cause harm to black. Why is this so? It is the only active piece that white has, or the only piece putting pressure in black's half of the board. The less of these pieces you have that are putting pressure, the more likely you are to get crushed. You cannot have two rooks doing anything. Which brings us to the next thing, which is we need to, again, what guys, watch out for opponents' ideas. Now, at the lower levels, this is all I see. Persons they're just so focused on their own plans, they forget that their opponents are playing chess as well. So they're like, wait, my rook on a1 isn't doing anything. Let me bring it into the game. And then suddenly, you know what, I'm going to even force you guys to practice your visualization. Knight to f3 check will now win that rook. But that's how the low elo thinks. They don't try to think further. They don't worry about their opponent's ideas. They're like, wait, I see a knight, let me attack the knight. And then they get surprised. So you want to practice to keep pieces from your area. This is how you relieve the pressure. So moves like pawn to f4. Now, in the game, rook to g1 was played, and obviously a fat knight check came on the board. Absolutely devastating. But remember, whenever you're calculating, you check moves again in this area. Whenever I play rook to g1, I don't just be like rook to g1, black plays g6. Because what? G6 doesn't affect me. Like if black plays g6, it means that I can play another move and I have not blundered, alright? The only way I can blunder is if a move again in my half of the board starts working. So I would play f4, the knight goes back, and then I start looking at my plans. Because what is the difference? There is no way in which black can create harm to us. And the same thing, I do the same thing, guys. When I play rook to e1, I don't just play rook to e1 and be like, alright, that's my move. I'm like, what is the active move that my opponent can play to actually refute this? Can he play rook to b4? Can he play... Okay, he has nothing. Can he play d4? If rook to b4 and pawn to d4 doesn't work, then I know that I'm in control, guys. I'm like, alright, I'm the boss now. You listen to me. My rook is on an open file. I'm going to start infiltrating in your ear of the board. So yeah, in other words, in this position, I would not hesitate to play rook to e1. You're getting the thought process, guys. Alright? I'm going to be going more into detail later on in this video, but this is going to be the base. Ensure that you get this. If you have to watch it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, sleep and have it on repeat, ensure that you get that principle down. Let's get into the next. Let's just put it as an example, but let's go, guys. Now, this is your test. What would you play for black in this position? I'm going to be giving 2 right answers and 1 wrong answer. Your duty is to tell me which one is incorrect. The 3 options are e5, taking control of the center. Pawn to c6, just pushing a pawn. Or finishing the king side development and preparing castling. Out of those 3 moves, which 2 are correct and which one is incorrect? The moves are e5, c6, and bishop to g7. Pause the video. I'm going to be giving the answer right now. Anybody who said bishop to g7, again, you need to rewatch the video. You need to, again, take like a walk. Come back, get like a fresh mindset of how to actually stop throwing away your games. Remember, we always check if our opponent can actually make a move in this area first. Low elo thinking, the low elo mindset. Most persons just focus on their own plans. If you play bishop to g7, then you're one of those guys which just focus on their plans. They're like, wait, I want to get my piece here and then my king to safety. But what about your opponents? Right? Now, how can white punish this simple developing move? It's this move here. Knight takes d5. And as you can see, with white's developed pieces, he can start capitalizing on your mistakes. If this is taken, then he's going to be winning the bishop. And, later on in the game, depending on the level, trust me, like, at a lower elo, they would still find a way to, like, blunder the game crazily. But I want you guys to really get this. Ensure that you're doing this with chess, dears. And it's basically you can increase your level with information, and there's like the practical side of chess which you guys have to master as well. Ensure that you have a balance in both and not just spamming videos and not working on your actual weaknesses. I'm going to be giving one final example just to make sure that we're on the same page. Stay tuned. Let's go. Guys, I know that there's going to be a lot of persons who are going to watch this video, watch some other YouTube videos, and then go back to their old habits. And, like, I can only teach, but at the same time, it's you guys who have to implement it, right? What would you play as white in this position? By the way, white is up a piece. What would you do? Oh, all the persons here who are extremely tactical, I know you guys see the tactic, by the way. Like, what would you play? Everybody who's going to sacrifice their rook like Gotham, or bishop to g5, attacking. pinning the queen and blundering the game on the spot. This is the low elo mindset. And why is bishop to g5 a blunder? This is you going back to your old habits. You're only focusing on your own plans. Like, if you guys get nothing else from this video, ensure that this one sticks. Again, this one, make sure, like, you need to really get the base of your chess right, so that the growth just comes like super easy. Bishop to g5. How I used to think like this as well. I think everybody in their career like once thought like this, where they only see their own moves. They're like bishop to g5, and that's it. If bishop to g5 is a game-ending move, then again, you just have to double-check it. And the only way that black can harm us is a move in our half of the board. So when I play bishop to g5, I'm like, all right, bishop to g5, does h4 work? That doesn't do anything. Does knight check work? Because after takes, then I'm going to be losing my bishop. And just like that, you would have given up your advantage. All right? Ensure that you are not just focusing on your own plans. Chess is a battle of ideas. But for all the persons here who still looked at their active moves, like this rook being on an open file instead of being passive on the f file, helped with this tactic. Look, white has these pieces crossing into that area. So what did white, or what must white do? First, he needs to sacrifice the rook, and then, and only then, pin the queen. If you guys spot this, or spotted this, then very good. You would have actually rewired your brain to start looking for moves the correct way, not just focusing on your own plans. Now again, chess is simple, not easy. You guys are going to be watching this video, and it's going to be hard to break out of your old habits. If you want like concrete ways to force you, I mean, I have methods, but ensure that you're practicing the right thing and not self-sabotaging your chess. So thanks again for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this. Peace.